lots of new families.
We did.
Decisions. People
all
are
the
coming
above.
back, and it was a great day here. I hope that you're having a great day where you are as well.
Yeah. Yeah. If you weren't able to catch the live service, this will be posted here probably on Monday.
Yep.
Just the debrief of the Hidden Figures, and a really great Sunday. Heidi, do you want to start us off on?
Yeah.
Just
takeaways from today. And by the way, because of copyright issues, we aren't allowed to show the entirety of the
Correct.
message. So
Yep.
we're doing this instead just
Yep.
to touch on some of those key points for those who were unable to watch live. But I think we started even with the title, it's Hidden Figures. And there's so many arenas in life when people behind the scenes
Yep.
are the ones who make something happen. And it was certainly the case for NASA and the African-American mathematicians who work behind the scenes. But even in church life, there are hidden figures who make church happen every week.
right now, the people in production who are making this live stream happen for you, that's a hidden figure. They're unseen, but not unappreciated, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the Bible actually says to give more honor to those unseen parts. And
absolutely.
so we're just encouraging people, whether you are in online or live capacity, to really be thinking about, what areas you might feel passionate about getting involved in. There's definitely a place for you, lots of different areas in church life. But just a reminder for all of us, too, to be appreciative of people in our creative and production worlds, and with kids ministries starting up again soon, that we are mindful of behind the heroes, really, who make it happen every week.
Yeah, and specifically for Hidden Figures, it was the story of Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, and they're all African-American women, all brilliant minds, all working for NASA in a time when they faced prejudice, they faced direct oppression, discrimination, and yet they were able to move forward and limitations in so many ways.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the story, they actually helped launch John Glenn to orbit.
Go Buck! John Buckeye be the hidden who behind so often in any movement you who get and people who are making those things. The story
kind of look at the huge obstacles that these women started to face, and the thought of living the impossible, what looks like it can't be done, and really how to approach it. Clearly, the movie is modern. We can those applications. He agrees. We could leave say, how do we face seems impossible in my
each of the was are not paid what she paid as her having responsibility without the benefit that she related with. Then married one engineer to supervise. I'm not going to the impossible, and he a Jew parent in a Nazi prison camp, and he said, "I'm standing here under a rocket ship. We're about to send somebody, into space. We're living the impossible," and really encouraged her to break free of some of the limitations and to keep moving forward. And then Katherine was assigned to the space group, and obviously encountered a lot of opposition there. And so, but all of these women, remarkable, were able to press on, go obstacles that were before them, and really make a difference. Both, I think here's the thing: they were breaking barriers both in their work, in terms of facing the impossible, but also culturally and socially, and impossible odds, and breaking through and paving the way for people to follow behind.
Yeah, one of our key verses from today was from Matthew 19:26. With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And really just asking yourself today, what am I thinking is impossible that God, who can work beyond our imagination, beyond our expectations,
beyond the
what
natural,
could God do? And really not limiting him to our circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my favorite part of the quote in this movie is it's a scene where Al is talking to Katherine, and they're just talking about how fast things change, and numbers, and it's all moving. He said, in my mind, I'm already there. Ask you, are you? And that we've got to live with that mindset of I'm already there. Whatever it is that dream or vision that is in your heart and we referenced Dr. Martin King Jr. and his prophetic ability to take people on a journey to see what could be possible, even in the spite of what the on the ground reality said was an impossibility, and that I have a dream. Been to it's going to a place, spirit, or being able to bring other people on a journey. That is what a what a,
it's really a definition of we're all here. It's something natural. Most of the time, we bring back our thinking to our five senses, to what we can have right in front of us, to what we see and hear, because things we control. And in fact, to see beyond control, possible. I love this from 17. These asking when God would come and answer the kingdom is something you can see. There's no use. Look here. Look, God's kingdom is here with you. And as believers, we have to walk not only in the spirit of faith, but also what is eternal, and not just what's temporary.
That's fair. Being able to see, throw off limitations, what each of these women were able to do, limitations on you. God is essential in every one. And our job to recognize how I throw limitations that's been placed on me by someone else, or maybe sometimes our own limitations that we put, that there's a potential on the inside of you that God has gifted you and created you. And that's, we talked about our Next Steps program, which is now completely online. And part of the reason it's there is for you to discover, man, this is how God has wired me. This is how he has shaped me. This is how he has gifted me. And to be able to discover some of those things so you can move forward in terms of what God has created you to be able to.
Focusing your gaze on what is possible instead of what is right in front of you, and asking ourselves today, like, what am I really thinking about all the time, or what am I gazing upon? Because it really does matter. In our current reality right now, asking that question of ourselves, what's consuming my time, my attention, my focus? Is it just what's right here in front of me, or am I thinking bigger? The Bible says his thoughts are higher than our thoughts, his ways are higher than our ways. And so it's not getting caught in that trap of what's temporal.
And then we talked about just being first. And there's a scene where Mary is standing before a judge in Virginia trying to get access to a class she needs to take at an all-white high school. And she is going to be the first African-American woman to take a class school, and she had to be the first. And so she says to the judge, and I love this question, out of all the cases you're going to hear today, which one is going to matter 100 years from now? And just that thought of being willing to take a step and to be the first, and Jesus certainly exampled that for us as well.
Yeah, and it's learning for us to be willing to speak out for the oppressed, to speak up when we see injustice. Jesus was always willing to be the first. And we talked about the woman at the well. When Jesus started that conversation with her, he was breaking barriers culturally, even gender. He wasn't even supposed to be talking to a woman, but what he did was he went first in breaking down those barriers, and he saw her for who she really was. But in the same way, we have to be willing to be first as well, to speak up. That, and even tell we're starting this the cafe kids and this for that, like, by them, who you need to coach, bring them, because you can use in easy and we're willing first, and that should.
I can look for. So I love to use this passage in Zechariah 7 and 10. This long as these my people, you must see that justice is done and show kindness and mercy to one another. Do not oppress widows, orphans, foreigners among you, or anyone else in need, and do not play ways of harming one another's. And what willing to go first? No, it was Proverbs 31. If you want.
It says, speak out on behalf of those who have no voice and defend all those who have been passed over. Open your mouth. So sometimes you got to say stuff, right?
Yeah, that's
Judge fairly and stand up for the rights of the afflicted and the poor. And called to speak up for somebody. So from day to day, me to be that voice for someone that needs it.
Absolutely. And even for some of us, it's what do I need to be first in maybe breaking things,
Yes.
maybe patterns of thinking or injustice or seeing things in a different way that you hadn't seen it, maybe even a generation to be broken, and you could be the first in your family to break that mindset
Right.
and break away from those things. And to be able to see God use you and move, and just saying, I'm willing to be the first, even though sometimes that puts you in a lot of pressure. But when you do it, man, God can use you in a powerful way.
Yeah, and I think back to that line, I'm already there. You know, it
Yeah.
starts with vision.
That's it.
Vision for your family. Like, we're going to see people in a new way. We're going to see people through his eyes. And like you said, breaking some of those generational things. Because the bottom line is NASA wasn't just behind the times. Our whole country was
yeah.
in
Right.
terms of being
Yeah.
inclusive and equality. And it took brave and courageous people,
Yes.
like we looked at, to start doing that. So God is omnipotent, but he uses people
Yes,
here on
absolutely.
earth to make things happen, and we need to be willing.
Yeah, and he uses people to open doors. And
Yes.
you think about Al Harrison, he
Yep.
opened the door for Catherine to give opportunity for her and her skill and her voice to be heard. And thank God for people like that, and that we can become those people for
Yeah.
other people's lives, to open the doors of opportunity for them. And then we kind of ended on of the church being what it's called to be. You know, we look at our world today and all the things that are happening, the racial tension, the chaos, a lot of stuff that's going, I mean, just the COVID reality, all these things that just that seem like an impossibility. And teachers and parents trying to navigate the school year, and oh my God, what's going on? The question today, we get every place race, diversity. We love greater than unity, greater than that. The prophetically is called
Yep.
reach a culture when and go, man, it seems like an ability and ourselves. We serve God up, impossible, us possible. It isn't.
Yeah, this passage, First Corinthians chapter verse 10. To you, sisters, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, all of you, with one another in what you say, there be no division among you, but that you are perfectly united in mind and really close the idea. Where does it all begin? It starts with love.
Yeah, it does. And I had the privilege of having a conversation with a wonderful man this week, and he first to help with the integration at Texas A&M even, and just he told me, I was privileged to hear some of his story, and I asked him, I said, what will it take to heal our country? What is it going to take? And he said one word. He just said what you said, Heidi. It was love. And that it's not going to be found, I don't think, in our politicians or our government. I think it's going to be found every day, loving people the way God has called us to love people, and loving one another the way God has called us to love one another. And in that, on our daily decisions, on the ground, the people you meet, the people we're able to talk to, that's what's going to bring the change that is necessary.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap up our After the Movies, and just
After the
want to
movies.
remind you, church, some key thoughts from today. God is the God of the impossible.
Absolutely.
Be the voice for people that need it, and it all starts with love in your day-to-day. We love you, church.